5 things a narcissist always fails to do and makes him very frustrated. Whether a narcissist presents a front of ability and authority, their real competency is quite weak. They lack basic life skills and the resilience needed for success in daily life. Though they prefer to believe they are all-knowing and adept in many different fields, the truth is rather the reverse. They have created a false picture of themselves and come to live on that. This false self-image helps people to believe that they are alone deserving of respect and adoration, worthy of a pedestal. No one else exceeds their capacity. You and I are fully aware, though, that this is not at all the reality. This is why in today's episode, we will go over 5 basic life traits that narcissists most visibly lack. 1. Expressing thanks. Narcissists battle to show thanks. They struggle constantly with a deep-seated dysphoria or general unhappiness in life. They are never-ending novelty seekers, always lost in diversions to escape a great inner emptiness. One should understand a basic difference between their own inner emptiness and the emptiness the trauma they cause upon you. Self-awareness helps you to see that your emptiness comes from inside, which motivates you to start a road of self-love, mindfulness, and compassion, a road toward well-being. On the other hand, narcissists ignore the many signals their environment offers in favor of always hunting for outside cures for their inner conflict. From their point of view, you become the only one causing the issue, and they continue not to see the need of introspection. They reinforce a self-victimizing story, which drives a constant dysphoria and discontent. This self-defining loop makes them their own worst enemies. It never suffices regardless of their belongings, your love, or their success. Narcissists seal their own fate by always seeking something elusive, always craving something else. 2. Restlessness. Realizing that nobody is perfect helps one to be flexible and promote harmonious cohabitation inside families and partnerships. Still, narcissists are motivated by a constant search for excellence in every person they come across. This continuous urge to depreciate others comes first, hence real friendships are impossible since none of anybody lives up to their unrealistic expectations. They might first idealize you or others, but when they see your natural humanity, you quickly lose importance in their perspective. The great inner sense of insignificance of narcissists is what they find difficult to admit. They believe they are completely useless and project this view of you. Their perfectionism and rigidity finally result in illogical, unachievable expectations. Many times their needs seem to be evasive, like a moving target. Though you believe you have found the target, when you get to it, it is still insufficient, and a new goalpost is developing. Because of their lack of flexibility and gratitude, narcissists are shockingly brittle. Their inner condition is at the will of outside events. Though they pretend to be omnipotents, they are much more fragile than one might think. The smallest change in their situation can set off narcissistic wrath and expose their actual fragility. 3. Truthfulness. Narcissists are not really authentic. A narcissist is, fundamentally, a false self created on a basis of lies. Their reality and their delusions differ sharply since they believe they are not something they are. Living in that way makes real expression impossible. Depending on their goals for the engagement, they easily change their image to fit the person they are interacting with. Like shapeshifters, chameleons, or even dementors, shadows bereft of real identity, they are unlike most people, narcissists lack a real core. They just reflect the tastes and preferences of others, since they understand that voicing criticism for particular items attracts respect and attention. Likewise, they know that supporting specific groups or preferences would help them to project an impression of superiority and get approval from others. constantly seeking validation, a narcissist is always caught in the art of manipulating and abusing people. Such a life is basically inauthentic, devoid of character, barren of a value system. Their quest of control, exploitation, and continuous validation consumes them. These traits essentially compromise their ability for authenticity. 4. Insufficient agency. In fact, narcissists depend more than average codependent people. One could say of them mutated codependents. A narcissist dropped in the midst of a desert would not live for more than 1 hour. As shown in earlier points, they constantly demand a source of affirmation and attention. The truth is they depend on you more than you depend on them, even if they may want themselves as fiercely independent and self-sustaining and able of tending their egos alone. They depend on your feelings, your memories of them, and the effect of their presence to feel any kind of significance. Deeply down they struggle with a great feeling of insignificance. They are basically a great deception that needs constant confirmation and believing to keep alive. Their illusion disappears when the light of truth reveals them, and you see you do not need them. Their frailty and weakness became clear. Paradoxically, yet this vulnerability also carries a great toxicity that would seem to be domineering, imposing, and even life-threatening. For a narcissist, their sources of supply become the cornerstone of their identity, as they themselves are like a structure built on thin air without a solid basis. The equation falls apart if you take yourself out of it. Their reality is inescapably fragile. 5. Not able to pay attention. Their lack of listening is the fifth quality of their life, where narcissists fall short. Although many people would not be outstanding listeners, narcissists have a different narrative. Even if they seem to be listening, they are essentially gathering information to find ways for penetration, expose your vulnerabilities, and investigate how they might forward their own goals. Using your psychology as a tool for abuse and control, narcissists feed on it for their own narcissistic supply. Their romantic connections hardly last since they do not pay close attention. They are there for themselves, seeking respect, but not really engaging in the family unit they pretend to be part of. They are absent for their spouses. Though for them it's only a piece of flesh, as I have explained, they may have an organ in their chest that keeps beating, the heart. They have no true heart. One needs a heart, empathy, and actual concern if one is to listen and really care. But we both know that if one person a narcissist actually cares about, it's themselves. They stay apathetic, even if you were suffering right in front of them, as long as it does not compromise their welfare. If they are the reason behind your suffering, they may even justify your misery and wish for you to go through more suffering, since it supports their sense of superiority and power. At last, narcissists are beings, subhumans, pseudo-humans. These are the reasons they cannot see anyone else than their phony self. Their self-esteem depends on the approval and adoration of others, hence they constantly demand people to satisfy their ego. You are only a piece in their game. The secret to release is to take yourself off that equation. When you do, you will see the world of the narcissist collapsing since, basically, nobody really is present. We must embrace this truth. Having said that, I would be rather interested in your ideas and comments. Share this episode with friends without delay. Feel free to leave comments below. I'll be back with still another one shortly. Till then, as usual, let the healing process start and last.